What is up? My name is Max. That's pretty obvious. This is the No Code Review episode 3. Today we are doing Cloakist. Am I pointing in the right direction? Yes. Cloakist. I put it as other, and the type is for individuals. It's more for individual builders like myself. There's not really a team or an enterprise functionality to it, but what it lets you do is it lets you, hold on, connect custom domains to basically any web page. So, let's say you have a Google Sheet. Let's say I have a Google Sheet with a whole bunch of data that I want people to be able to easily access and see. Instead of sharing this big, gross Google Sheets share link, right, or publishing it to the web and it still has this big kind of gross URL, I can go and I can give Cloakist, I can just input in a little form my Google Sheet URL, and it will let me connect it to any custom domain that I own, which is super dope. Imagine like going to a domain and it's just a Google Sheet full of information. Could be pretty cool. You can do that with a whole bunch of other tools as well. This is Airtable. Airtable is like Google Sheets on steroids. It's more of a record-based data system. I have my old no-code list. So this is all for a tool called beta.co. It's a website where I'm making a bunch of no-code reviews, and there's also a big no-code list there. But initially, I was going to just put the list on Airtable. I have this list right here. I was just going to put this list through Cloakist and then have it at its own custom domain, beta.co. So you could just go and visit the actual dang list and scroll through and filter it yourself, right? I've ended up creating a slightly larger system for it, but that was my initial prototype. Um, Pretty cool. I can just list a database at its own domain name, and there's a whole bunch of other options too. You can list a type form at its own domain name. You can list a ClickUp page at its own domain name. You can list your Calendly page, your Adobe Express. That's actually pretty cool. I use Adobe Express a lot. Um, a lot of different tools online that let you create pages or information systems or things like that. You can now just connect to your own domain. It adds a lot of cleanliness, in my opinion, to the user experience if that's valuable, right? So let's say I have a tool and I want to display all the information that I gather through that form tool on a Google Sheet, and I want people to be able to access it and see it. Instead of just linking them to that Google Sheet, I can say go to backends.maxespage.com and they can just see, I could link that through Cloakist to this Google Sheet so they can see the backends, right? Kind of neat. So if people going to specific pages that are on specific tools that you've used to prototype your builds, and you want to make that user experience of them going and checking out those pages on those specific tools cleaner, you can just use Cloakist for something like that. I am a little sad it doesn't have a free tier. I'm on the pro plan because I've used it with a couple of other websites. It works with Notion and Coda. If you're a workspace builder like me, you'll know what those are. Now you can just publish, I think, through Notion and Coda. They each have their own website publishing system. So Cloakist is obsolete for those two tools specifically. Although I'm sure there's some extra, I think there's some extra custom code that you can add through Cloakist if you really need to. So not totally obsolete. But the starter plan is $15 a month, which is a shame. But if you have to add a whole bunch of like custom URLs to a couple different pieces of your project, you could probably fill up those 3 websites and the starter plan may be valuable to you. So it's pretty cool. They have a showcase of a whole bunch of different things that they use. There's another possibility, and this is something you may want to check out and experiment with. You can actually get around other tools' paywalls using Cloakist if you wanted to. That's not the main use case. That's not what it's for. But for instance, Calendly, right? Calendly is a calendar tool where you can go and you can create your own listing calendar page. So people can go and sign up on your calendar page for meetings with you. A lot of professionals use it to simplify the process of getting people on their calendar and setting up meetings. Calendly, on one of its paid plans, I believe, don't quote me on this, if you're on one of Calendly's paid plans, you can make your calendar page at a custom domain. And it's all sexy and cool and nice. Like, ooh, cat. My cat just wiggled the wire. That's his ear. That's him. If you wanted to, you could pay Calendly's paid plan and you could get that custom domain functionality. But you could also just do it with Cloakist, and it may actually be cheaper, so it's worth checking out. The same thing with, I think, Typeform and a couple of other form tools. You can list your forms at custom domains. So people can just go to a custom domain and boom, they're at your form. You can do that with Cloakist as well. And you can get around some potentially more expensive paid plans if that's the feature that you're specifically wanting. Of course, Calendly and good form paid plans come with other features. But yeah, pretty neat, super fun. I dig it a lot. So there's a lot of use cases for this. There's Trello. Let's say you want to publish your roadmap to a really, really simple domain. Let's say I have a startup and I want to publish my roadmap to roadmap.mystartup.com. You can do that through Cloakist, right? People can just go and visit that. Um, I really like the idea of using like a sheet and making it like a backend.website.com. I think that's kind of cool. In my opinion, that's sexy. I'm sure users would have a different preference. But it's a whole lot of fun. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with it. I have the listing here. Learning curve is easy, very simple to use. They lead you through every single step. And that's pretty much it. I have a couple of other little bits down here you can go and check out on the site. But yeah, that's Cloakist. Hope this was valuable to you. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, please. If you have any other tools you want me to review, drop them in the comments below. And check out beta. By the time this is up, there may be a whole bunch more reviews on my site. There probably will be. So if you're looking for no-code tools or you want a big sortable list that you can easily like check through, and you want to find actually quality reviews, that's the whole point of this, of no-code tools, hit up beta.co. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in episode 4.